What's up, YouTube? Good afternoon. How you guys doing? What's up, Turo family? How's everyone doing? Checking in. I try to do a video once a week. Pretty busy here in Orlando, just doing stuff. A lot of bookings, a lot of, working, all that stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to check in because we got some really great news. So later this month, I think it's like June 27th, Turo has officially, you can officially begin renting your cars out, or you renting someone cars through Turo, June 27th. So that is official. I always hate when people do this. They all driving in the left lane, all driving slow, and now I'm going to pass all of them in the right lane and just dip in the left lane when that opening comes about. Just don't make no sense. Anyway, back to the topic. So Turo's kind of officially in, New York City, which is like just really good, really cool. See, I just dipped in. Really good, really cool to see that. I do have a car up there through my brother. But so I want to congratulate everyone who's been patient, who has been, doing Turo, registering their cars in Jersey and things of that nature. Now you guys are going to officially be able to register in New York and do things through New York City. Now, my question is this, because this happens quite, frequently in New York. Now, when tourism isn't happening, and I'm going to assume right now there isn't much tourism in New York, there's more or less people leaving to other states with, more sunnier weather, better beaches, etc., or tropical places such like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, anywhere in that Bahama realm. This is just the assumption, right? Most people who could do it are leaving to more tropical places. I don't see a lot of tourism. I mean, there's always people in New York, right? But I don't see people per se traveling there right now, especially because New York is so expensive. But I don't see people traveling there by plane to go to and do the New York festivities, and et cetera, et cetera. I know that people have made a great living in New York off Turo. Not New York, but New Jersey, quote unquote. They're really doing business in New York. But what I'm saying is, right now, I feel like if you're going to be renting in New York, you're going to be dealing with mostly local business, which is okay in some standpoints. But I feel like when it comes to local New Yorkers, you're always going to run into the problems of someone's going to smoke in your car. It's going to happen. I know, as a Turo host, you're not supposed to get attached to your cars, et cetera, et cetera. Those are your money makers. But someone's going to smoke in your car. Someone's going to damage your car. So what I'm trying to say is, how long will you have a vehicle on Turo in New York after ringing it out? Because someone's going to damage it. Like, if it's not the first trip, it'll be between the first 10 trips. It is bound to happen. And so then what that does is that stops your money, right? That stops your money. Even if it's not a car that you're attached to per se, it stops your money. And so my question to host up there is like, what do you do about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your things? Because I know that people are crazy in New York. I know how that is. But at the same time, what are some of your guys' techniques and ways to go about this? I'm definitely interested to hear, because, like I said, I used to live in New York and moved down to Florida, like most smart New Yorkers. See, I threw that in. and it's a much better lifestyle down here, compared to New York. New York is a very dense place. During living there for a long stretch of time, you could become, what is it, seasonally depressed. That is actually a thing, believe it or not. Seasonally depressed. You're constantly surrounded by so many people, whether that be via bus, via train, via walking on the streets. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's just so many people all the time, nonstop. It's just insane. Talk about Times Square, like you could barely find parking in New York unless you're someone who has spaces and something like that. Like you did the full setup, like that would be cool. But I don't know, man. Like I just find that it's like very tough. Especially because Turo technically is new to New York. So how do you go about some of those things? Like me personally, as a host, I would try to have like a lot of some sort that I can store my cars, because I'm not street parking. That's just insanity. That just sounds like insanity to me. Imagine let's say you have 5 cars and you got to move all 5 cars on a Tuesday and on a Thursday. Come on now, that you see what I mean? Like I look at these little things like that, and that just sounds like too much. Yeah, you might be able to price your cars a little bit more than other states because it is New York, and there's always constant demand. But the question is, like, you're going to be renting to locals. It's not going to be a lot of tourist base, because most tourists that go there, they're not renting cars. For the sole purpose of them coming to New York was to enjoy not having a car. So how do you go about that? You know what I mean? So like most of you people that's going to be renting are going to be local. I can guarantee you that. I'm not saying all, I'm saying just most. Don't get me wrong. You're going to get someone who's coming into town. They're going to need a car, etc., etc. Like me, if I was going to New York, I definitely need a car. So I'm going to rent a car, and there's a lot of people like me. However, on that same basis, there are also a lot of people who are looking forward to not having to drive around. They don't want to deal with that traffic, those dense places. They don't want to deal with parking fee. Like, how do you... That's going to be my stories. Like, please comment below, like one of you New York hosts, once this thing starts to get rolling, please comment below, because I'm very curious to know how you guys would go about, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta have a lot. Like, you gotta have a garage or a lot of some sort to store your vehicles. And then I would recommend, like, how do you go about avoiding parking tickets? Because you're gonna get it, which means what? Which means your license will probably be suspended, because people are gonna be parking like they don't care, right? So what's gonna happen is you're gonna have someone park their car in a legal spot, or they're gonna park their car and not pay the meter, or only pay the meter at a certain time, but totally forget, because it's not their car. So not their problem. It's going to be your problem. Yeah, you can charge them, but that's a headache and a hassle. Then you might be at court a couple times, throughout a couple months, or whatever the case. The other thing is, most people who are coming to New York don't know how to parallel park. I can guarantee you that. Most people who are coming to New York do not know how to parallel park. So what's going to happen? Rim scratches. Yes, you can charge the guest. You can get your money back. That's besides the point. It's the inconvenience. Okay? Then you're going to have to be fixing your rims every other month. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're charging, it's about the inconvenience. And so, I'm just curious, like, how are you guys going to go kind of about that? And I really want to know, and I really want to learn, because I don't foresee myself doing Turo in New York. I just don't. For me personally, I just don't think that's a good idea. Like, if I'm not there, I can't rely on family members, friends to do the right thing, making sure that, business is running as usual. I just can't. I just don't. I don't. It's not that I don't trust people. I trust people, but I just don't trust them to that fact to get things done. Like, to get things done the way I need them to get done. You know what I'm saying? So, that's my whole ordeal when it comes to that. So anyway, I'm just curious, guys. Please comment below. I'm very interested to know, like, what is going to be your sort of, what's going to be your expectations? And then how will you guys go about doing that? Really curious to learn, really curious to know how you're going to go about doing that. Anyway, peace. Everybody have a good one.